the weather conditions are absolutely perfect. Hello and welcome to another edition of Boarding Now with me, Jeremy Spake, coming to you as ever from the Departure Lounge. In fairness, we had been hoping to be outside for today's show, but the weather is absolutely lousy, alas. So I'm hoping that today's programme puts you in the mood for your own adventures that might be rain-free. To start, I'd like to say a big thank you to Martin and Helen Smith for getting in touch to tell us that after seeing last month's show, they decided to spend 5 days in Croatia and had an amazing time exploring the Adriatic coast. It's great to hear about your experiences, especially when the show inspires you to get exploring. Hopefully, this month's destinations will have you itching to get up and go like Martin and Helen. So let's take a look at what's coming up in today's show. We'll be discovering the beauty of the Baltic in Lithuania. We'll be in Queensland in search of some tropical Oz, as well as discovering what's on offer to the day tripper in Britain's first city. And I'll be bringing you the latest travel news of what's hot in the industry. Our first destination this month sits on the Baltic Sea and was once part of the Soviet Union. Since its independence in 1991, it has worked hard to develop its tourism, which I'm pleased to say is now flourishing. So let's take a look at a selection of travel postcards from Lithuania.
Ever wondered what a genuine Lithuanian sauna experience is really like? Do you imagine something like this? Or this? Or maybe this? In Lithuania, it can be all of these and more. Here, a sauna is a place that you define. It can be a place where you face your biggest fears, discover your own boiling point, and make the heat become your friend, for a little bit at least. Or it could be your spa, your tranquil temple, your room for ideas, your office even. It's your choice how to experience Lithuanian sauna. And believe us, there are no bad choices here. Just one small piece of advice from experienced sauna lovers. Whatever you choose, don't forget to let yourself go and really feel the heat, the steam, the touch, the leaves, the air, and the water. After all, it's this combination of natural elements that makes the Lithuanian sauna experience truly authentic. Find your sauna.
Hello, all you adventure seekers. Meet the notorious explorer, Rob. Follow his discoveries in the awe-inspiring land of Lithuania. Would you just take a look at that? This beauty is the Curonian Spit. Looks like the perfect place to explore the scenery on a bike. Make a few stops by the dunes, pretty houses, forest, and beaches. Do you want to harness the wind? Then you're in luck. Ride the waves and jump as high as you can in Klaipėda, Sventsula, or go with the flow anywhere along the Lithuanian coast. So many steps, rides, and jumps to take, and sceneries to take in. It's time to pack your bag.
Tired of being just a viewer? In Lithuania, you can be the star of your own movie, no matter the genre. From enchanting fantasy to adventure, all filled with twists and turns. From dreamy romance to the goofiest comedies, from daredevil pirate adventures to thrilling mystery. And for those with a taste for rebellion, Art House. So come play the leading role in Lithuania, a country that just doesn't fit into the screen.
Hello, all you adventure seekers. Welcome to the magical wonderland known as Lithuania. It doesn't matter what kind of hero you are. Here, you'll find a quest for yourself. Maybe you're an action and thrills lover, a history and art buff, a fan of mysteries and myths, do you like high-tech fun? Or are you fascinated by nature and its inhabitants? Whatever you're looking for, it's all here. Adventure is calling. Are you going to accept it?
Lithuania offers travellers a veritable feast of experiences. So if you're someone who likes to explore historic city centres, or perhaps prefer to get the adrenaline pumping doing adventure activities in the wilderness, they've got you covered. Here's some handy information about this Baltic beauty. In May and June, temperatures vary between 7 and 20 degrees. In September and October, between 8 and 10 degrees. In July and August, you can expect temperatures to range between 12 and 21 degrees, but bear in mind that these are the busiest months for tourism. Lithuania uses the euro, and you'll also be pleased to hear that your debit and credit cards are widely accepted in the tourist destinations. If you fancy doing a little bit of exploring, hire a car is the best way to get about. Be sure to eat like a native and try the kepilinai, which are potato dumplings, the bulvinai bilinai, which are pancakes, or the kibinai, meat pastries. There's a lot of nais in there. Lithuanian is the official language, although you shouldn't have too many problems being understood, as English is widely spoken. Lithuania's weather is similar to the UK, which as you can see makes July and August the best months to visit if you want a bit of warmth and a good chance of some sunshine. That said, I think Lithuania is a country that can be enjoyed year-round, depending of course on what you've got planned when you get there. I've certainly enjoyed city breaks in the quieter months, so here's a few of the travel options available to you. You can organise a package holiday with Expedia, lastminute.com and Trivago. Direct flights from the UK are available with LOT Polish Airlines, Ryanair and Wizz Air. Connecting services are available with Lufthansa from its Frankfurt hub. Our next destination boasts a Roman circus, an English Civil War siege house and an award-winning zoo amongst its many visitor attractions. I've lived nearby for many years and never ceased to be amazed by the wealth of history on offer, which dates all the way back to 1 BC when it became Britain's first city.
Lunch on the way and all for under £1. You know that on the way back I cuddled with Jack and we opened a bottle of cider, singing a few.
Like so many cities and towns across the country, Colchester has a wealth of history to explore. It also has one significant claim to fame, thanks to the Romans who arrived here in 1 BC and created Camulodunum, the country's first capital and major habitation. I'm off to explore. My day in Colchester begins at St Botolph's Priory, which was founded in around 1100 and was one of the first Augustinian priories in England. Despite being badly damaged by cannon fire during the English Civil War in 1648, it is still an impressive example of early Norman architecture. Built in flint and reused Roman brick, and there was me thinking that recycling was a modern phenomenon. The church displays massive circular pillars and round arches and a very elaborate west front. I can only imagine what it was like to have been one of the labourers on this project. A short walk from the Priory you'll find another imposing Norman building, but first I want to take a stroll around the park. After all, the weather's being kind. Colchester's tiered Castle Park has a veritable feast of flora and fauna and is the ideal spot to take a break from the daily grind. Time for me to find my guests for this part of my day trip to the city. It's my sister Claire who's joining me for a tour of the impressive Norman castle. I really like the park. It's Norman, the keep. Yeah, it was built in the 11th century. The castle is the largest Norman keep in Europe, so there's lots to see. No, the original winkle picker look.
Big feet, didn't they?
Well, I think it was all toe rather than. Is that a woman's shoe or is it a fella's shoe? Oh, late medieval.
I hope it's a woman.
Many of the artefacts from Colchester's early history can be found inside the castle, so allow yourselves a couple of hours at least to explore. Roman law banned the burial of the dead within town walls. Extensive areas along the roads outside Colchester were set aside for cemeteries. But it's quite worrying. Do you not think that's quite worrying? The pipe allowed offerings to be put in the grave. Ah, okay. But if you look at it, it kind of, you know what I think of when I see that pipe? It's like they buried you alive and you can just talk to them and it's like, what's that about? I think you'll find the film was called Buried, sis. Unsurprisingly, the museum has a wealth of Roman items on display, given that they built the first British city here in 1 BC. Now you see, this is the temple, which was actually the foundations of the keep. So they built the keep on top of this temple, the ruins of which can be found in the foundations of the keep. Imagine that. I think it would have been nicer to have that here than the keep, don't you? The castle is a really great place to visit any time of the year, but I've come for a very specific reason, which I will now reveal. I think you'll find this is the real reason my sister was so keen to join me. It had absolutely nothing to do with catching up with her bro. The shame of it. My sister and I are big fans of Jerry and Sylvia Anderson's work, so this is very self-indulgent. Captain Scarlet. Oh, I like Joe 90. That's so cool, isn't that cool?
Let's get some pictures of this. I wish I was a spaceman. So that was the first one, wasn't it?
How cool is that, look?
It's beautiful, isn't it?
So Fireball XL5 takes off from Earth heading into space using a horizontal track rather than being launched vertically. Oh, very good. Capture the moment that tourist is taking picture. So the one in the middle there, he reminds me a little bit of Eric Honecker. Do you not think?
Yeah, no, there is a
resemblance to
yeah,
him.
most definitely. And he does remind me a little bit of Gary Oldman.
Yeah, his glasses are a bit wonky though, I think.
Yeah.
And you've done this before, haven't you? I don't think she should give up the day job, to be honest with you. It's alright, is it? I think we've earned this, to be honest.
Yeah, it's lovely. Sun's out.
What flavour have you got?
I've got lemon crunch.
I like to have chocolate. Love chocolate ice cream. So what did you think of the castle then?
Well, it's a long time since I've been in there,
Yeah.
and they have really done a good job at laying it out and making it very interactive. It's excellent for families to find out. Whether you live here or you're a visitor, there's plenty to see and do. And I think it's a good idea to have like a pop-up exhibition. Just adds that little something extra. And I mean, wow, what an exhibition that was.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I got you a little
wow.
keepsake, look.
Oh, that's nice. Oh,
So
thank
you've got
you.
some Thunderbird stuff in there. I got one for myself as well because I suffer from FOMO occasionally.
Yeah.
So what you've got in there is you've got there's a card of the Thunderbirds 4,
Yeah.
which was the underwater doofer.
And who drove that one?
Oh, I can't
I
remember.
think it was Gordon.
It was Gordon, you're quite right. Wasn't Gordon a moron? Gordon is
That's
a
a
moron.
song.
I know. And then you've got Lady Penelope in her
In
car.
Fab 1.
How good is that?
Fab 1.
Then you've got Brains. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Here's a few of the other things that you could investigate while you're in the city. Holly Tree's museum, which tells the social history of the city, is located in an impressive Georgian townhouse. I do love a bit of Georgian architecture. The Natural History Museum, located opposite the castle, does exactly what it says on the tin, natural history. Bourne Mill, owned by the National Trust, was converted from a fishing lodge to a mill in the 17th century. Once the scene of a bloody battle during the English Civil War in 1648, the old siege house is now a bar and restaurant, but still has the 17th century bullet holes to attest to its bloody past. This imposing looking modern building is home to the city's first sight art gallery, which houses regular exhibitions and events. You can also get a coffee. Having abandoned my sister, I think she was really only after the ice cream and the frothy coffee anyway. I'm heading off to spend my afternoon in the wild. Weather does look like it's on the turn though. No visit to Colchester would be the same without popping into its award-winning zoo. Personally, I'm hoping to catch up with some other family members along the way. Set in 60 acres of parkland and lakes, it's home to around 180 different species of animals, showcased in 36 different habitats. It does undulate up and down a bit, so be prepared for a bit of a hike. You'll also meet some of my relatives there. Ah, it's Uncle Fred. Don't be offended, but I'm looking for something a little bigger. You guys are cute, but it's not you I'm looking for. Now I'm on the right track. I'm a big fan of Africa, so feel very much at home in this part of the zoo. Some would say I found my natural habitat here at Colchester Zoo. Excuse me, sir, you wouldn't happen to know where the cheetahs are? Are the cheetahs just around this corner? They are fabulous, thank you. My hopes of seeing my favourite animal here at the zoo have been dashed by the very nature of the animal world. This is probably as close as I'm going to get to my favourite animal, which is the cheetah. But I count myself very lucky because I've seen them in their natural habitat in Kenya in the Masai Mara, and they truly are a magnificent cat. Here, kitty kitty. I really enjoyed the TV puppetry exhibition in the castle, although that puppeteer was a bit dubious, did you not think? The exhibition runs until the end of June, so there's still time to head to Colchester and enjoy a bit of telly nostalgia amongst all the other things on offer. If you fancy taking a look for yourself, here's a few options of how to get there. Greater Anglia Railways offer services from both London Liverpool Street and Norwich to Colchester. A word of warning, there are two stations in Colchester, Colchester and Colchester Town. Both are absolutely fine for a day trip. If you're planning to drive to Colchester, you'll find it situated on the A12 from both London and Ipswich. Time now for some travel news. EasyJet has announced that it is re-establishing a base at London Southend Airport, which is great news for the airport and those that live within the catchment area. The airline will be basing 3 Airbus A320s at the airport from the start of the summer 2025 timetable, so March next year for you and I, and will be offering 6 new destinations: Antalya, Dalaman, Enfida, Gran Canaria, Marrakesh and Pisa. With easy rail links to London and fairly good road links to both East Anglia and Kent, London Southend makes a good alternative to other London airports, and I'm sure that the new destinations will certainly help give a much needed boost to the South Essex Gateway. Norse Airlines are expanding their US network from the UK with the introduction in September of thrice weekly services between London Gatwick and Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas, don't give up the day job. The airline has some great fares already on sale, so if you're looking for a bargain, check out their website sooner rather than later. Norse joins both British Airways and Virgin Atlantic on the route, so you'll most likely see both British Airways and Virgin reducing their fares in response to the new competition. Let's hope so. JetBlue continues to grow its transatlantic presence with the introduction of daily seasonal services from the Scottish capital Edinburgh to New York's John F. Kennedy Airport. Flights are currently planned to operate until the end of the summer timetable, so October, but I'm sure that if they prove popular, JetBlue may consider extending the service to year-round, which would be great news. I'm a bit of a JetBlue fan, as I found the crew and onboard service to be pretty good in comparison to some of their competitors. In addition to the Edinburgh services, JetBlue currently offers multiple daily flights from both London Heathrow and Gatwick to Boston and New York's JFK, with connections to its extensive network. Rail travellers in the UK, alas, will continue to suffer disruption and cancellations throughout the summer, as the train drivers' union ASLEF has yet to reach an agreement with employers about its members' pay and working conditions. Advice for travellers remains unchanged. Check your travel plans in advance and try to avoid travelling on days when strikes are planned. It sounds really simple, doesn't it? But you'd be amazed how many people don't bother to check. So do your homework in advance and make sure you avoid the strikes. Families travelling to Mallorca will be pleased to hear that the Fergus Group has now opened its latest venue, the Fergus Club Mallorca Water Park, which is located in Magaluf. The 4-star property offers 656 rooms and states that it's the Balearic's largest family-friendly hotel water park. The property has teamed up with both EasyJet and Jet2 Holidays to offer inclusive packages to UK travellers, and there are still some bargains to be had. Titan Travel has launched its 2025 Small Group Holidays and Solo Tours brochure, which now features 2 new tours. The company is offering travellers more than 25 small group tour options, and for solo adventurers, you'll have your pick of over 40 tours for 2025. Safety now. A timely reminder to anyone travelling by air, please keep your seatbelt fastened at all times when flying. We've seen several severe turbulence incidents recently, and whilst these are extremely rare, keeping your seatbelt fastened will significantly reduce the chances of you being injured during any turbulence. That's all the travel news for now, but I'll be bringing you more industry news in the next show. Don't forget, my weekly podcast, On Air with Jezza, is available every Sunday via your favourite streaming platform, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, YouTube and Spotify. Regular listeners to On Air with Jezza will know that it's packed full of great music that's been chosen by you, as well as topical chat about what's been happening in the UK and around the world. The show comes to you every Sunday via your favourite streaming platform, so hopefully you'll be able to join me every single week. I look forward to seeing you there. Our final stop this month sees us heading to the other side of the world in search of tropical wonders that might surprise you. Queensland is the world's 6th largest subnational entity. Incredibly, it's larger than all but 16 countries, and with a population of just 5.3 million people, there's plenty of space for you to enjoy tranquility.
I met a strange lady, she made me nervous. She took me in and gave me breakfast.
The state's capital, Brisbane, is likely to be your first stop on your way to discovering tropical Australia. It's the 3rd largest city in Oz, and as you'd expect, has a blend of colonial and modern architecture to enjoy. Taking a break in Brisbane will allow you time to recover from the long-haul flight and to immerse yourself in some of the local culture. Its diverse metropolitan population makes Brisbane one of the most livable cities in the world. Trust me, you'll be glad you took some time out in the city, as there's so much to do in the north of Queensland, you'll need plenty of energy to enjoy it all. Always make time for another pint. Before heading north, it's worth visiting Ipswich, just outside Brisbane, to enjoy a balloon fly to start your adventures. A great place to begin exploring all things tropical is Cape Tribulation, a coastal headland in the Shire of Douglas, which according to the 2021 census has just 123 permanent residents. My idea of bliss. It's the perfect location to enjoy a variety of outdoor adventures, to include horse riding or maybe paddleboarding through the rainforest. Join one of the organised groups and you'll be able to chill out as you go. Ah, this is my kind of activity. You'll also find plenty of isolated spots to enjoy a dip. Please tell me you haven't seen a croc in there, fella. Blimey. A short hop from Cape Tribulation will find you on Orpheus Island, which is a national park and is known to the Aborigines as Goolbody Island. The island is home to a research station operated by the James Cook University, so you're assured a wealth of natural wonders to explore by kayak or on foot. Our next stop is Cobbold Gorge, described as a gorgeous outback oasis and ranked amongst the best of Australia's gorges. And it's easy to see why. Paddleboarding through the gorge is a must, as the vista changes with every bend. Be sure to take your time so that you can soak up the natural beauty. No visit to Queensland would be the same without visiting the Whitsunday Islands, a personal favourite of mine and the perfect location to unwind from all the energetic activities. OK, there was a fair bit of laying around. There are 74 islands in the Whitsunday group, so you're spoilt for choice. One thing's for sure, you'll always find perfect white sandy beaches and azure blue water. What's not to like? The islands were named by Captain James Cook when he arrived here on Sunday the 3rd of June 1770, the day Whitsun was celebrated on the Christian calendar. Ah, that explains it. One of the 7 natural wonders of the world which can be seen from outer space, the Great Barrier Reef can be explored from the Whitsundays. But please remember to treat this endangered natural beauty with nothing but respect. Is this not the perfect way to find your inner Zen and be at one with yourself? I think it is. If your budget permits, why not sail off into the distance, having experienced the true wonder of Queensland, Australia's tropical homeland. How fantastic was that? Queensland, in my humble opinion, is one of those destinations that has plenty of idyllic hidden treasures that are less well trodden than others. And the Whitsundays are simply a wonder to behold. I love them. Here's some handy information about Australia. Average temperatures in July and August range between 17 and 27 degrees. Incredibly, July and August are normally the driest months in Queensland. The Australian summer months of January and February, temperatures range between 24 and 32 degrees. A little word of caution, January and February are the wettest months of the year. If you're taking some cash with you, you'll need Australian dollars. You'll also be pleased to know that your credit and debit cards are widely accepted throughout the country. If you want to do a bit of exploring, hire a camper van, but be warned, some of the distances are quite long. Make sure you try a bit of Vegemite on toast, or barramundi, which is a fish dish. You could of course try witchetty grubs if you're brave enough. You shouldn't have any trouble being understood, as English is the national language. If, like me, you like wide open spaces that are sparsely populated, Queensland has them in abundance. The great news is that you can be as active or as lazy as you like, as anything goes in this chilled out part of the world. Fancy exploring for yourself? Here's a few options of how to get there. Connecting flights to Brisbane or Cairns are available with British Airways, Qantas, Singapore Airlines, China Eastern, Emirates and Korean Air. Package holidays are available with Freedom Destinations, Kuoni, Travel Bag and a host of other companies. Travelling to Australia is not for the faint-hearted, as it's a long way to go, but the rewards when you get there are obvious, so your effort will definitely be worth it. As you might expect, it's not the cheapest place in the world to visit, but if you shop around and do your research, you will find plenty of bargains if you need to watch what you spend. Time now for us to take a quick look at what's coming up in the next show. We'll be going all wild in search of the Big Five of Africa when we visit Kenya for an African adventure. We'll also be in the land of the rising sun, where tradition blends with modernity. Yes, Japan, an Asian odyssey. We'll also be spending a wonderful staycation in the beautiful moors and moor of North Yorkshire. 3 very different destinations in next month's show, and I'm a fan of all of them, so I'm really looking forward to sharing them with you next time we meet. As always, it's been great to be with you, and I hope you've enjoyed discovering Lithuania, spending the day in Britain's first city, and finally dipping your toes into the tropical delights on offer in Queensland, Australia. What a place. Please feel free to get in touch to let us know what you thought of the show. You can do so by emailing shows@jeremyspake.com or by completing the handy feedback form that can be found online at jeremyspake.com. Hopefully I've inspired you enough with today's destinations to go off and search for your next breakaway. We'll be doing this all again next month, so more destinations to enjoy, and in the meantime, remember to stay safe. We'll see you very soon. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a priority viewer. We do love a bit of priority. We'll be back in the Departure Lounge on Saturday the 6th of July.